Welcome to part 3. There's a part 1 and a part 2 if you're interested. Here we go.
Google Analytics shows a complete lack of awareness regarding this topic until around July 2016, when the search for this event went viral. And let me point something out. It's interesting to note that if you go to the CERN particle collider,
Oh boy, this is going nowhere good.
that they indicate that the first time they ever turned up the particle collider to full power was right around July of 2016, which is exactly when that spike happened.
No, it wasn't. The peak was the week of August 14th through 20th. You can toss the 7th through 13th in there too if you want, but definitely not July. Learn to read. Oh, sorry, is it July in your world? Just Mandela effect? As for the Large Hadron Collider, what do you mean by peak power? That term doesn't mean anything. All I can think of that you might be trying to talk about is collision energy, but from everything I can find, the LHC ran at 13 tera electron volts through the entirety of run 2, and they started colliding particles at that energy way back in May, the previous year. So that doesn't make any sense. I guess maybe you're talking about luminosity? But roughly speaking, to use CERN's own words, that just measures the potential number of collisions that can occur in a given amount of time. Strictly speaking, that's not quite what it is, but practically speaking, it is. So maybe what you're concerned about is having more collisions, generating more high energy collisions, and you're just concerned about that? Or I don't know, dude. I'm just trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. What you said doesn't make any sense. So I have no idea what you're talking about. And you know what? I also have no idea what you're talking about as far as the Large Hadron Collider causing the fucking Mandela effect. You're asking people for explanations of phenomena. Well, do me a favor. Explain to me exactly how smashing particles together in a tube caused the name of The Picture of Dorian Gray to change to The Portrait of Dorian Gray. I really look forward to your technical explanation of this. I'm sure it'll be some deep physics work, not just a particle accelerator, that sounds scary.
Where all the people started to search for the Mandela effect. Just saying.
Exactly. You just say things.
So,
Is
there some natural explanation for all this number of people to suddenly come down with the crazies?
Well, if the particle accelerator's doing it, I guess there must be. I'm still waiting to hear it, though.
I think not.
Then why did you bring it up?
Therefore, there'd have to be some outside influence to cause such an event, wouldn't you agree?
A non-physical outside influence? You had fucking chemical warfare in your list before. What kind of chemicals are they? Ectoplasm?
So unless you can give a reasonable explanation for all these people...
Unless I can do that, then what? You will? They made particles smash into each other with non-physical outside influence, and now Fruit Loops has 2 O's in it. Good job, Johnny.
Individually becoming crazy... then you'd have to abandon that argument.
It doesn't really matter, man. I couldn't be fucked to argue about this since you guys started. I'm just getting to it now. I'll retract every damn argument I've made. I really don't care. It's not like I have to worry about you coming out with any good ones.
That people claiming the Mandela effect are crazy. Okay, so crazy would not happen unless people had succumbed to some bioweapon or some demonic delusion.
So is it CERN or isn't it CERN? Did you bring that up just because you think it's nonsense? You didn't sound like you thought that was nonsense, but now it kind of sounds like you do. Or maybe it is the LHC's fault, but it's just not capable of making everybody go crazy. It's capable of all the other stuff, but making people go crazy, that'd just be far-fetched.
So if you insist from this point on suggesting that people are crazy, in other words, you believe that this group of people has not succumbed to an outward influence, but it's just on their own makeup. They have become crazy as a group. I submit that you're the one that's crazy.
Submission received. Can we get to a better point, please?
Because crazy has to do with mental soundness. And mental...
Oh my god, I'm skipping ahead a bit.
Now, another flavor of crazy is suggesting that people are weak-minded or gullible. They're unlearned.
Weak-minded, gullible, and unlearned are not flavors of crazy.
They're suggesting that they're just weak-minded, insecure people.
Oh, that much is definitely true for a lot of the diehards, and it's probably got something to do with them buying into this explanation. Doubt it has much to do with the false memories, though.
And what that does is it exposes your lack of research. That you haven't really spent a lot of time looking into the types of people, the caliber of people making this claim.
Just curious, where do you rank on the caliber scale, in your personal opinion? I mean,
all of the pastors.
Oh, gee, well, if the pastors think it.
The scientists, the NASA employees, the engineers, the educators, the doctors.
Just to be clear, you're bringing that up to say that people who believe in the Mandela effect don't do so because they're weak-minded, insecure, gullible, influenced by Photoshop. So scientists, NASA employees, engineers, educators, and doctors are just, what, mentally invulnerable supermen? When do they get their superpowers? Is it as soon as they finish their degree or what? By the way, has anyone noticed the similarities between some of the arguments here and creationist arguments? Look, we found a few people with good jobs who agree with creationism or the Mandela effect, so we must be right. Or from earlier, it's mathematically improbable for all the current species and or common false memories to just magically pop into existence all at once with no process driving it, so we must be right. I don't know, some bits and pieces of this just feel kind of homey, that's all.
All of which are putting their reputations on the line, making complex videos with stacks of evidence.
Is the best of that evidence reflected here in this video meant to convince us that we're irrational? Because not only am I not seeing any good evidence, I'm not seeing many attempts to show any evidence at all. And when I go out myself and look around YouTube for evidence of the Mandela effect, all I come across are more garbage examples like we've already gone over here. So it really does feel similar to creation apologetics.
And we're baffled by the cavalier response that those who cast crazy aspersions on us were without researching, because you have no idea if these evidences even exist.
No, I've seen a lot of them, and they're all abysmally stupid. Am I just missing the good ones? They weren't in your video. I watched one of your hangouts too, and every single piece of evidence there sucked too. If I have time once I'm done going through this video, I might go through the first bit of that hangout just to show you what I mean. But it's not going to be anything new. It's just the same old thing repeating over and over again.
You've chosen to turn a blind eye, and you have just made these blanket statements.
I'm sitting here right now going through your Mandela effect video line by line. If this is turning a blind eye, I'm a bit confused what that phrase means. There's a difference between turning a blind eye and just not seeing your evidence through the eyes of a desperate believer.
Here is the kind of thing that we are looking at.
All right, everyone, evidence warning. Time to turn your blind eyes.
Which makes the idea that we are misremembering seem so offensive.
Oh, it's offensive. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't realize. You poor thing.
Okay, are you ready?
Can't see a thing. Let's go.
Are you ready? Because I have a question for you.
Oh, it feels like it's about to get real. I felt so cavalier up to this point, but I think that's all about to change.
Do you have your flawed memory ready to go?
Bananas are purple. Frosted Flakes mascot is a cheetah. World War II ended in 1983. Calibration complete.
Best you can, because human memory is so unreliable.
How dare you suggest that I could ever forget anything? I have the mind of a god.
How many people are in the Jackson 5?
4. Jermaine, Jackie, Tito, and Marlon.
Wrong.
No, that's right. I mean, if you'll recall, Michael had a solo career and then died. And then Randy, nobody cares about Randy.
It's 6.
No, it's 4. God damn it. That picture's from the 60s, man. Those are children. Not a single member of the band left is under 60 years old. You asked how many people are in the Jackson 5. Well, okay, it's not the Jackson 5 anymore, it's the Jacksons. It has been since 1976 when they had a copyright dispute with their label. But it's the same band. So when you say how many people are in the Jackson 5, well, today there are 4 members of the Jacksons, which is the same band as the Jackson 5.
Here's the original picture of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's odd though, if the band's name is the Jackson 5, why are there so many words on that drum? We better do some gumshoe journalism. Oh, the Jackson 5 and Johnny? Who's Johnny? Johnny Jackson was noted for being the drummer for the Jackson 5 from their early Gary, Indiana days in 1967 when he replaced original drummer Milford Height until the end of their famed career at Motown in 1975. The label presented Johnny as the cousin of the Five, but contrary to popular belief, Johnny Jackson was not related to the Jackson family of entertainers. Here are some CD cases of early music showing the Jackson 5 and Johnny. So what's the problem?
Here's the picture of the Jackson 5. There's 6 of them.
Actually, no, at that point, Randy was not an official member. Here's Wikipedia, good enough. Randy was not an original member of the Jackson 5, first officially appearing live with his brothers at the end of 1971. Although he was on every Jackson 5 tour from 1972 forward, mainly playing the congas among other instruments, Randy did not officially join the family band until 1975 when they left Motown, and Jermaine chose to stay with Motown. So here's a picture of one of their live events where they're dressed in the same costumes. You can see the actual 5 out front doing their thing, and their kid brother Randy tucked away in the back there. It's just in this particular photo they happen to put him in the middle. Ooh, mysterious.
It's Michael in the back middle.
Great.
This is their family tree.
Which is followed by several seconds of silence. Apparently, I'm just supposed to know what this means.
And then this is the kind of thing that we're seeing and we're dealing with. And then we're being told we're misremembering. On the right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then in the same magazine on the left, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signatures.
Okay, well, there's 6 boys in the family, so they got the signatures of all 6. Besides which, Google image search seems to think that this is from 1984, which falls right in that brief period of time where there actually were 6 official members. The picture only shows the 5 original members, but at that point I think all 6 brothers would have been in the band, so not including one of their signatures would have been kind of weird. By the way, here's a little test of your ability to think outside the Mandela box. If the Mandela effect weren't real, what do you think might possibly have made people think that the Jackson 5 had 5 people in it all the time? Can you think of any conceivable reason why people might think this about the Jackson 5? Of course, by this point, it had long since been called the Jacksons. I gotta ask, honestly, what do you think a band is? Do you think it's some static, unchanging thing? Like you declare, these are the people who are in my band, and that never, ever changes. Nobody ever joins or leaves. Is that how you think bands work? Because it really seems like it is.
This goes on and on and on. It's anomalies. It's unexplainable things.
Unexplainable. The brief period of there being 6 brothers in the band, or people joining them for live shows, are unexplainable. Just totally impossible. No, there were literally only ever 5 Jacksons. Randy never existed. They never had drummers or anything else on stage with them. No percussion at all. Man, you want a real mindfuck? Check out this clip. There's 8 people on stage in this one. It's unexplainable! How do you say stuff like this and then take yourself this seriously?
It's not misremembering. It's journalism.
Bro, you didn't even take 5 minutes to find out who Johnny Jackson was, who Randy Jackson was, or whether the Jackson 5 always had 5 people. Oh, and by the way, I hate you for making me do so much research about the Jackson 5, especially when it came to that weird picture of them piled on top of each other with their shirts off. I don't know what they were going for there, but I don't like it. They're brothers. It has a weird vibe to it.
It's knowing your surroundings and being cognizant of them. I can't say that word.
If you're so into being cognizant of your surroundings, why would you not bother to research this stuff, Mr. Journalist?
Now this one
is where it all falls completely off the rails, as if it hadn't already. You remember I said there was one he was so proud of, he thought it was just the greatest example? Well, we're finally here, and it's not great, to put it as mildly as I possibly can.
Is absolutely unequivocal to me.
I agree it's unequivocal, but not about the thing you think it's unequivocal about.
Because I grew up watching the Flintstones.
Oh, I've heard all I need to hear.
And of course, every name in the Flintstones is relevant to rocks. You know, Mr. Slate, Barney Rubble. Flint is a stone. And it goes on and on. Bedrock. Okay, so this is one of them. A very known Mandela effect. One day we all woke up and the Flintstones lost their T, and it was the Flintstones.
I see. And why would the Universe B creators make that decision? Are people in Universe B just generally dumber? That would explain a lot.
And everybody's like, what? No way. Flintstones always had a T. Now it's got no T.
I know what you mean. People keep misremembering my name with an extra D in it. So I'm curious, are you saying that there are people who think that the Flintstones had no T in it? Or are you saying that Flintstones media suddenly had no T in it, but everybody thinks that it should have had a T? It might seem like a fine distinction, but I think it's pretty relevant to know exactly what we're talking about here.
And it was everywhere you looked. On lunch boxes, I went and sought it out. It wasn't just in the data sphere. It wasn't just Photoshop. It was in Walmart, okay?
Oh my god! You saw a lunchbox with a word printed wrong on it? Whoa! Okay, so where is it? What do you mean you don't have it? This is your evidence and you didn't buy the lunchbox?
All of the lunch boxes had no T. It was in the natural realm, too.
Oh yeah, well I was in Target, and they had lunchboxes where they were called the Flintsons. So, yeah, it was weird. Believe you me.
Okay.
Okay.
And somehow, I captured this picture and saved it, and it stayed in my hard drive, in my possession somehow.
Alright, up until this point I've just been having a little fun with you, but this is the point where I have to get a little more snippy with you. Because up until now you could have just been a very silly man with very poor critical thinking skills, but now you're openly and demonstrably lying. To start with, this is not a photograph of a lunchbox. If you wanted to take a photo of a lunchbox, it would look like a photo of a lunchbox. You just downloaded this picture off the internet. But that's by far the least of our problems here. Let's look closer at your photograph. There are so many problems with this that I don't even have to work to find them. Now, the first thing to notice is that where the T used to be, we've taken the Flynn and moved it to the right to fill up the gap. And that's left us with a lot of artifacts. Notice how in the original image, Wilma's hair cuts out an arc through the L. Well, whoever photoshopped this, and Johnny here has pretty much confessed, couldn't be bothered to fill in the space where Wilma's hair used to be. It's still just empty. Part of the edge of the L and the yellow color of the L is left over above Wilma's head, where it actually belongs. The top and bottom of the N show signs of something being erased, and there's leftover discoloration and even suggestions of lines from where the T used to be. Now, all I can think is that that was from the total idiot that made this, trying to erase the T after the fact with the clone stamp tool. I'm trying to replicate it on the screen, and it seems like that's what it is. Honestly, as someone who's at least vaguely competent with Photoshop, like to the novice level, it is incomprehensible to me that someone would suck this hard, but he does. And on top of all that, it doesn't even look good. Like, the character's hair is just hidden behind the letters, and what you didn't cover up is half erased. This has got to be one of the most obvious photoshops from any bullshitter on the internet. You know, did you say you're so offended that people don't believe you? I'm offended that you think I'll believe this.
So this thing on the right is not photoshopped.
Oh, is it GIMP?
It's what I experienced. It's what at that period of time.
Why are you stuttering? Is it hard for even you to vomit out that fucking lie?
And I have a vivid memory, and so many people have this, when the Flintstones flipped and it flopped. In other words, it flip-flopped. It changed, and now it's changed back.
So did these other people come to this conclusion before or after you flat out lied to them? Remember all that about, this isn't about people being influenced by Photoshop tricks. Ugh!
Now everything is Flintstones with a T. But what you're looking at is proof.
Oh yeah, 100%. Your credibility, perfect.
Is proof that we're not misremembering, okay?
Actually, that's true. This is proof that you're not misremembering. You specifically, at least. You suck.
And so misremembering doesn't make sense.
Oh, does misremembering not cause enough Mandela effects for you? So you have to start inventing them and trying to net the gullible? Anything for the Christian cause, right? This really is like Kent Hovind, Jesus. Do you know how many gaps and uhs and I've had to edit out of your goddamn video? If you can edit images, you can edit audio. Do better.
And I have produced several videos addressing this topic. So
you're going for quantity of bullshit over quality of bullshit?
I know you want this to fall into the rational category.
No, actually, I want this to fall into the you being irrational category, because this shit wounds my faith in humanity, and I don't want that.
And, you know, a lot of people say with kind of an air of superiority, well, I'm rational. And this is just people misremembering. And I submit that you're not completely rational.
Nobody's entirely rational, but at least a lot of people literally never try to pass off Photoshops as real to convince people to join their religion. So hey, maybe it's okay if they feel a bit superior.
If you think hundreds of thousands or millions of people somehow all of a sudden got real sloppy with remembering everything around them,
or with Photoshop, I should probably stop going on and on and on about this, I guess, but it's still on the damn screen.
And all these people are willing to stake their reputation on this claim, and suddenly their marriages are threatened, they're being thrown out of the churches, and they're losing their jobs because of this, and it's all just because of some quirky misremembering without some outward influence?
No, not without an outward influence. You're an outward influence. You know, if you're willing to just lie to try to fool people who you think are weaker of mind than you, who's to say other people aren't? I mean, that's something we haven't even talked about. People lie. You've just demonstrated that people lie, not that it needed demonstration. And not only that, you're a motivated liar. You have a reason to want people to join this. You think this is some sort of an inroad into Christianity. So if there's one motivated liar, why not 5? Why not 10? Why not 1,000? It's perfectly physically possible. There's a hell of a lot more people lying in the world right now than that. Why can't a few of them be lying about this? I don't think most of them are, the ones who say they just remember this stuff, but some of them might be. Maybe their reasons are similar to yours, maybe they're different reasons. Hell, maybe they're just doing it for the meme. I don't know. But by you doing this, you've pretty much decimated the last hint of any sort of need for outlandish explanations. The Mandela effect is people being people, including some of those people being shit people.
They're just suddenly being found to be bumping into walls and can't remember their own name, can't remember their multiplication tables, can't remember the names of the streets they grew up on.
That doesn't sound like the Mandela effect. That sounds like Alzheimer's. Might want to get checked.
People claiming the Mandela effect is real are not just mentioning this once a year at the water cooler.
Imagine having to work with that guy.
No, we're creating YouTube channels and producing videos, spending hundreds of hours researching this.
Bitch, you didn't even Google the Jackson 5.
Risking everything to warn people.
If you're pulling shit like what's on the screen right now, you can't have that much to lose. Everyone who's ever seen a shitty Photoshop knows what that is.
We understand and have experienced quirky misremembering. Okay, this is not that.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you will come back and join me for part 4, which is the final part. Please do subscribe, give a like. Big thanks to all of my supporters, and I'll see you for the final stretch.